Hello, welcome to another McLaren fans podcast. It's been a very busy week in the world of McLaren, and here, as always, to discuss stuff, we've got Sarah. Say hello, Sarah,
Hello, Sarah.
and of course, Andy Romson. Say hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
So, yeah, it's been quite a busy week. We've had a car launch, we've had a, one kit launch, and another kit launch. We've had quite a few other things happening. We've had a shakedown going on at Silverstone, where once again it seemed like it rained, but we'll get onto that later,
As it does.
as it does. Um, but yeah, and then hopefully later on we can mention something that the three of us were part of earlier in this week. But we're still waiting for a little bit of a nod in the right direction to mention that. So let's see what happens. So let's go. Let's talk about the MCL38 car launch. Now, obviously, McLaren launched the livery back in January, wasn't it? Caught us all by surprise. We'd not even got out of podcast hibernation, and basically had to do an emergency podcast. At least this time we knew what was kind of coming up, and we could plan a little bit better for this, and sort of pencil in a date and have everybody ready.
Podcast hibernation. That makes us sound like we're little hedgehogs and we go and hide in a pile of leaves, doesn't it? I like that.
I don't mind doing the bit before hibernation, which is eating a lot of food. I'll do that every
yes,
day.
you need to build your stores up. Yep, definitely.
Certainly I've done that over the years. So, yeah. So we got the launch of the car on Wednesday, early in the morning. It was pretty good, and yeah, I think there's plenty more to see on it. I think there's definitely some things that we've hidden. A bit of duct tape over here, something kind of hidden with the
dark that video is. Like the 35-second video, whatever it is, that is shot with a black filter in front of a black screen with a black background and zero lighting going on, so we can't see any details. It's beautiful.
And when the car was going out of the garage, on the things that have been put on socials, the camera is at the right angle to only show the bits that they'd like to show. But that's fine because that's playing the game. Yeah, we don't want to give it all away.
Every other team's going to be doing the same thing,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But isn't it great that we think we've got stuff which we don't want to share with other people because we think it's going to be amazing?
Innovation.
Yes. Let's hope so. Yep. Let's given last year where we're all they've blurred out the side pods and then but this year none of us are talking about it actually going to be sort of like we've got a quite optimistic. I think we've finished the season strong. It's interesting though that it definitely is if you look at the car, it looks different. It's different to last year. I mean, it shares some DNA, you can tell, but I reckon there's a lot changed on that car from last year, and a lot that we probably didn't put on last year's car for the last couple of months. So,
well, you know how early on they start the development of the next year's car, so they're thinking about that from very, very early on, and we're all aware of that from previous seasons and from what you read about with other teams. But yeah, I'm very optimistic this year because I'll tell you one reason. Well, last year we didn't start well, and look how we ended up. So I feel quite good about however we start. We know the team are going to be pushing, and that gives me a great feeling inside. So do you feel the same way?
Yeah. Go on, Andy.
I'm cautiously optimistic, as always.
Good. Yes.
I think we'll do well this year. But as always, I will not read anything into times at a Bahrain test. Even if we top the sheets, I'm not going to get too carried away. But
I think I might do.
Do you know what? Well, irrespective of the times in the Bahrain test, I'm still putting a $5 on us to win the championship. But I do that every year, even when we don't have breaks.
Last year.
All right.
We always put a few wagers on.
The constructors or the drivers?
Both.
See, I'll do 3 bets.
Yeah.
Right. Well, why don't we all take a bet each, and all put a fiver on, right? And then whoever wins, they get to choose who to give that to as a charity or something.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do that,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the other 2 losers have to do a forfeit of the other
Oh.
person's choosing, within
I like
reason.
that.
I'm not wearing a Red Bull shirt or a Ferrari shirt, nothing like that.
Just remember later in the podcast to remind me to mention bets or wagers. Just keep that one up here.
Yeah.
So just popping back onto the optimism we're facing. Yeah. Do you remember the fire up videos this year that we've got like Zak in the workshops and everyone's is firing up?
Yep.
And at no point in those videos or the pictures from that whole day did Zak look happy. And it wasn't that he was unhappy, it's that he wasn't ecstatic that with things were working. It looked like he just wanted more, and he continually wanted more. And I think I do not think it's a negative. I think it's a positive. The fact that we're constantly striving. We're not happy that it's working. Yeah, okay, it's fired up, brilliant. We're not happy that it's just normal. We constantly driving for more, and he just looked like he was determined to get better. And that's what I loved about those pictures.
Was that his poker face? Is he already thinking, yes, come on? And he's just not showing that.
Maybe
It's
it
like
was
a
the day
swan,
after he'd
he's
had
serene
Botox.
above the water, yeah.
Who knows?
Exactly.
I did notice that on the livery launch, there was some chat around Twitter that the rear wing, the outside of the rear wing didn't have any sponsors on it, and like what we're going to put there, was it going to be the Monster Energy and all that? Then drop boxes appeared on the rear wing, on the space that was left empty, as if that was almost in the works.
As if by magic.
Yes, and it's good picking up yet another sponsor.
Yes.
Official partner of boxes to be dropped or something. I don't know.
At one point they're going to say Lando Dropbox.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? It can be a challenge when we come up with new sponsors, and might this be a good time for me to mention my exclusive?
You've got a new sponsor?
Well, no, the exclusive press release that I showed you earlier.
You can do.
Okay, I'll be super quick so that I don't derail the agenda. The reason I think it segues nicely was because I was thinking about the fact that if you were building a car and you were trying to think of how to relate those sponsors, that could be sometimes challenging. So I'm proud to announce that I have a press release here that I can share with the world now. This is from Fraggle at McLaren Doggo, if you don't already follow Fraggle. And we've got an update on the MCL38 K9, the Doggo car that is released every year. For immediate release, it says on this, here at the DTC, Doggo Technology Centre, we have been very busy over the winter putting together our Challenger for the 2024 season. The MCL38 K9 is an evolution of last year's car and will feature sausage-powered upgrades in key areas. I like that. Mr. Zak continues to bring in the sponsors, and I'm pleased to announce an exclusive deal has been signed with Dogbox as our new technology partner. Dogbox. This year's livery will feature the famous papaya, as well as plenty of carbon fibre. Keep an eye on socials for the upcoming launch. And we've got a quote, it says from our driver, Fraggle the dog, woof woof, a woo. There you go. So, guys, follow at McLaren Doggo and look for the updates. Official breaking news just for us here at the McLaren Fans Podcast.
I absolutely love dad jokes, and the quote from the driver got me. Sorry.
I think what Fraggle does every year, pulling together a car, redesigning it, especially not having opposable thumbs, it's great work from a dog, and I think we all applaud that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to seeing it. So,
Dogbox, I call it Dogbox from now on.
Right. And papaya. Yeah.
Papaya, yes.
So, obviously there was a car launch. There was a bit of a shakedown at Silverstone. I believe you guys went and had a bit of a sneak behind the fences, underneath the
Yes.
fences, over the fences. I don't
Through
know.
the
How did you sneak in to try and have a look?
Well, we heard a rumor that McLaren were going to do their shakedown at Silverstone on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I came up with a stupid, completely idiotic,
Brilliant.
harebrained idea of going, well, why don't we go to Silverstone, sit in the hotel and watch? There's a hotel there that looks over the track. Let's go do that. And someone was stupid enough to say yes. Someone else on this call was clever enough to say no, I'm not an idiot. But yeah, so we drove a few hours in the hope of seeing maybe a little bit of papaya going around a track.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
So the plan didn't go quite as we'd hoped, because what they did was split the circuit. And we knew Mercedes was there as well, but I was naive enough to think there'd be split times. Maybe McLaren would be 9 till 12, Mercedes would be in the afternoon. And I assumed that all of the cars would be in garages on the international pit straight, the Hamilton straight, in front of the hotel. And as we stood on the balcony, we suddenly became aware of the noise of a car, and that it wasn't coming near us. You could hear it in the distance. And I was able to find out from someone at Mercedes that they were in fact in the main building on the Hamilton straight, and that McLaren were in fact in the old pit straight over the other side of the circuit. And then they split the circuit so that they were doing a short 50-second lap, and Mercedes would be on the part that passes the hotel. At which point Andy and I used an expletive and suddenly realised the car was never going to pass us, and we didn't want to wait to see the nice silver one, so we went off for a walk, and I got very wet feet. Let's just say K-Swiss papaya trainers are not waterproof.
We went through a few bushes, and we
Yep,
didn't.
yep.
We did not break through any fences that weren't already open.
No, we just walked along through the old car park areas, and we found next to the Silverstone UTC College that there was a fence, and we could just about see through. And if any of you follow Andy and I on Twitter, you'll have seen pictures of the garages, and that you can see the top half of people dressed in our team kit, and you can see a garage door. You can see a reflection of a car going along that pit lane. You can hear it. You can see the rooster tail spray as it goes by, and you can just see the top of the car. We did not see the whole car at any point. However, we felt super cool because we felt like we were there. We were there at the launch.
You see the videos of like the Maranello circuit, like Ferrari and the diehard Tifosi there against the fence, and the car going around, and they're just spying it. And like when I heard the rumor that McLaren were going to be testing at Silverstone on the Wednesday, I was like, that image came straight into my head. Can we go and lean up against a fence, and can we see McLaren, and can we see it like without 200,000 people there as well? You know, can we go and get our own little piece of just fun story? And it was fun. We saw a millisecond of car go past, and we saw a lot of spray. But
yes,
I couldn't
but
care
we were
less.
like,
I had a great day.
There's a car, there's a car, there's a car. And we were like, oh, who's that on the pit wall? Is that Tom Stallard? Couldn't really see, long way away. Who's that? Is someone holding a camera? And you know, we were guessing that maybe that was Oscar and we could see from the reflection of the car, it was a fluoro helmet, and you could see that it was Lando's helmet. So we knew Lando was in the car. So yeah, it was, you know, it's one of the crazy things real fans do, right? We do stupid stuff.
Complete folly, 100% folly. So when we were researching it, a night in the hotel was going to be £208 for a trackside balcony hotel night for the Wednesday night.
Yeah,
not worth it. But we went and just sat in the cafe. Brilliant. Cost us a couple of cups of coffee, and then we walked around the track.
We were planning on having lunch.
Could you have gone into the what do you call it, Silverstone Experience Museum, and seen it from there?
Good point, Andy. Good point.
Yeah,
we could have
blacked it out. They covered the track area, so you couldn't see the track from the museum.
Yeah, because that's
they weren't letting people out of the back door either.
Right. So they've noted what to do with that then. Yeah.
I mean, give them credit. McLaren did a private shakedown test.
Yeah.
The first word of that sentence was a thing that we were trying to not have.
Yeah.
So they did brilliantly. Like we walked around the back as well. We went right out back and tried to get as far anywhere we could to see that half the track, and it was just fun. Yeah, I mean, I think Sarah and myself are fortunate enough that we could at a last minute rearrange a few meetings at work and effectively have a bit of a nice day.
WFH, work from hotel. Yep, that
Indeed.
was the plan. And
Yeah.
and you know, we got quite excited when we started planning it. We started planning it the day before. And we were full of a buzz, as I'm sure you were, Mr. Donnelly, as well. The day before was quite a buzzy day for all of us, wasn't it?
It was, yes. We were all lucky enough to be on a call with Mr. Zak Brown and Mr. Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
We had a half an hour Q&A, not just us three. I think there was about 30 fans on the call in total, where people got to ask various questions about the upcoming season and things like that. Zak gave us a little bit of an overview of what was going on and how they felt about things. And it was, very, very enjoyable and really good of the team to do that.
Yeah.
I guess we were all sat there kind of hoping that maybe they'd go, oh, and here's the car. But actually, in reality, they're never going to do that on a digital platform where somebody could take a screenshot or something like that. So
it was great. It was really good to see all the familiar faces that we've been to events with and that we know are other super fans. And I got to ask a question, which I was quite happy with, because we submitted some questions ahead of time. So my question was to Zak to ask him if he'd got any bets or wagers in place with Lando and Oscar about how they might want to be rewarded if they win a race this year, or if they do well.
I noticed that he wasn't going to go for the tattoo.
No, he did state that. He said there will be no more tattoos, he said. And he said, but he hadn't got anything in place. So then he reached out to Oscar on the call and said, so Oscar, what would you like? And Oscar was a bit, I don't know, I haven't thought about that. We suggested maybe he might want to pick a car from Zak's private collection to drive. He's got a plethora of beautiful championship winning cars there. But Oscar said it might be something about the lake at MTC. So maybe there might be someone jumping in the lake or something like that. So
maybe he has to do a triathlon around the lake.
Yes.
The MTC triathlon on the underground hidden track as well, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we wait to see. One thing that Zak did say at the end of the call that really touched all of us very personally, and we'll share that with the pod watchers and listeners, is that he was a fan himself and that he remembered the feeling when he first met a driver, and when he first went to races and when he first did things as a fan before he was in the position he is now. And he said he still remembers that feeling and he knows what that's like. So it really did feel like he was in touch with us. He really knows, how important fans are to the sport, to the team. They feel that support. So we definitely felt that he understood that, guys, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, let's hope there's more of this type of fan engagement across, obviously, a wider audience as well as the season goes on. I do know they are kind of sat there scratching their heads trying to come up with some of the best things to do and trying to sort of, do some unique things. So I would say, hopefully, watch this space. I'm sure there'll be things that happen at races and elsewhere. Yeah,
Do you know what, though? If people have an idea of what McLaren could do for a bit of fan engagement, the best thing we can do is tell them.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
They might press delete on 99 emails, on 99 tweets, and just ignore them. But then one might be one they go, that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
I've been sending suggestions in for years, and I mean they've done one of them, which was actually a quiz thing you would do on Discord, McLaren Discord, brilliant. All right, but at least the ideas are going in and giving them options.
Yeah.
I'm an IT nerd and I'm trying to give them social media ideas, so never going to work. But send them in, see what happens.
They're definitely listening. That's the message there. You might not see a response, but they read and they listen and they're taking it in and they're looking for what they can do. So yeah, any ideas, guys, please share them with the team. They will appreciate it.
And they are unbelievably overworked.
Yes. with all the different races, racing types we have now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that our Formula E and Extreme E team share the same team principal. Ian's out in Saudi Arabia right now for Extreme E at the weekend, and then he's going to be starting back on the Formula E in a couple of weekends' time.
Exactly. They're overworked, but they love it.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of my favourite parts of the season, kit launch. I'm always excited. Always excited by the kit launch. What are we going to get this year? Is it going to be different? Is it going to be zebra stripes again like we had years ago?
Yeah.
Is it going to be
lacy
the lacy women's Vodafone top, things like that appear.
What was the women's one that came out and just went right down? It was a really low cut, almost like went down to the belly button.
It was a very revealing V-neck women's Vodafone rocket red shirt.
Oh, it was the Honda year one as well,
for anyone that had boobs, that's for sure.
Oh, you mean the one with the
scooped neck?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that one.
Yeah, it was not helpful if you had breasts. That was definitely not considered as part of the design.
Yeah. Well, I would say that what we've got now, design-wise and quality-wise, is a lot better.
Yes.
Look, sort of. People have had new kit arriving this week. I've just got the new team shirt, shirt, whatever it is. I will say it is different material to last year. It's a lot more like a football shirt in its material. But that also means it's quite clingy. If you get me.
Is it a bit nipply, Andy?
Well, yes.
Would you recommend to listeners of the podcast that they might need to size up, for instance?
I've gone with the same size as last year, and it's comfortable. Let's just say. So I'm not so sure whether sizing up or down is a good idea. I know somebody who bought the big coat, and they've already had to return it because it's massive. So,
yeah, but that's good because I'd like to be able to put a hoodie underneath it. And normally the coats I buy are so tight, I can't do that. So that's good news. The big coat is my favourite item, I have to say. I've got a big coat that I wear to the football for Stowmarket Town FC. It's so warm. It's so good if you've got a bad back. It's so comfortable. The big coat is on my wish list.
It's a very football kind of content.
It is a bit, isn't it? That well, they are. To be fair, they are a sportswear football kit manufacturer, and really just started to move into F1 and other sports.
Oscar had the big coat on yesterday.
Done rugby for a while as well, I think.
Yeah.
Can I just put us back to one thing that we've completely glossed over?
What was that?
This week we had the kit launch. Andy Donnelly is currently wearing the kit that he ordered this week.
Miracles do happen
quickly. Yes. He's still waiting for his order from last September. But
got the kit exactly. There's still an order outstanding from last September, but the kit launch stuff arrived this week. Yeah.
How? Hopefully, conversations have been had behind the scenes, and they've got processes worked out and kit being shipped.
I think the thing that they've done this year that's different to what they've done previously. We've always had a pre-order window.
Yeah.
And this year it seems like they've got the stock and then pressed the button, whereas we haven't gone and pre-ordered everything. And then what would happen then is that somebody would receive their stuff in 2-3 days, and then somebody who'd also pre-ordered that same day, within 5 minutes of the other person, and maybe even before, wouldn't get their stuff till 6 weeks later because of however they do their manic picking of things or orders of just, they didn't have any process in place. Maybe they've changed that, I don't know. But normally this time of year I've ordered a lot of kit, but this year I just basically went, right, I'm not risking it by ordering a lot. I'm just going to go for a couple of things and order that.
I thought there might have been a different reason, Andy. I thought maybe you hadn't ordered so much because it's quite similar to last year.
There is a bit of that.
Radical, yeah.
But having got the actual shirt itself,
I
think I'm going to probably buy a couple, like the opposite colorway of this one.
Yes,
as
I know
well.
the one you mean. Yeah.
And probably a polo at some point.
Could you
if it's
stand
the
up
same.
and give us a twirl?
I can. Yeah.
I'd like to see the full thing.
We're
Listeners
going
to the
for a.
podcast, get excited.
There you go.
There he is. Oh, so I wanted to see these little stripes on the front, Andy,
Yeah,
that
they're
look like you
printed.
might have a pocket. What are they made of?
They're made of printed material.
Oh, so it's not a pocket.
No,
So it's not a stick-on bit of plastic like I feared.
it's the same as whatever that is.
Right. Okay.
It's printed on.
Yep.
Do you know what though? So I mean, two things. I'm wearing last year's shirt, and I still have like every single letter on it. None of the
Yes,
decals
and
have
none of
fallen
it's
off.
peeled off. None of it's peeled.
But
Oh, there's more. There's more.
I'm wondering
Shield.
how long ago they approved the kit, because that blue stripe on Andy's t-shirt and on the
Well,
gilet.
we know that Zak had told us at the Formula E that he just approved it then.
So that was
He'd approved it, wasn't it? Approved a year ahead.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's not on the car though. That blue stripe is nowhere near the car.
No. So does that mean they changed the livery at the last minute and that they were expecting to have the blue on it again?
It's a nice top, that, Andy.
Yeah, I like the top. Oh, Andy, are you doing a catwalk?
Viewers on the podcast are getting a nice little treat.
You're not allowed to smile if you're on the catwalk, you know. But there you go, guys. So new team kit on display.
I can't believe it's arrived this week. That's
Oh,
shocking.
I'm astonished. I'm not going to complain.
No, definitely not. But it's good for the podcast that you're able to show people. I've got to be honest, I haven't ordered anything yet, but the big coat is on my list. I did think there were a few things that had gone up in price a little bit. I know it's new era, but
£95 for a hoodie.
Well, I just feel sorry for any parent that wants to buy a hat for their kids, because
that is ridiculous.
Well, now you've been modelling, maybe people will want to do that to you, Andy. I just thought if I had two kids and I'd got to buy them a baseball cap, I'd have to wait till the sale.
Yeah. Well,
and I guess that's my feeling. Wait till we get a podium, because there might be a discount.
There is, but there's also another way you can get a discount right now.
I know what you're going to say, Andy. Tell them.
If you sign up to McLaren Plus, which is kind of their newsletter, not only do you get to hear everything from the team and it keeps you up to date.
Yes.
If you sign up with the same email that you have a store account with at McLaren Store, you get 10% off.
10% just for signing up and receiving an email.
Exactly. So what is that? That's a tenner off. That's pretty much a tenner off your £95 hoodie.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's definitely worth doing.
Definitely worth doing. So if you're sat there going, right, I'm just going to go and buy some McLaren merch, sign up. If you've already signed up, well done. Make sure you use it.
It matters though, because it brings a 41 quid cap down to 36 quid,
which is a bit more realistic. Let's be honest.
And 36
it's good
quid
that you've
sounds a little
explained
less
what
harsh.
10% is to the people on the podcast. I'd always assumed they knew, but
well, it's not 36. 10% would be a little bit more than that. Well, a little bit less than that even.
I'd also add that if you look on top cashback, I don't think that shows very well on my camera.
No, we can just see a white screen.
Yeah, if you look on top cashback, you can get 5% back on the McLaren store as well. So not only do you want to be a member, but you also want to go through top cashback and then to the McLaren store, and then you'll get some cashback. So we are trying to find ways to help you buy your team kit this year.
Yeah. And if it appears on the CAS store website, they've always got an offer on. You can always find a discount for a CAS store.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you want a mug, there's none on the McLaren store site, but you can buy them from the McLaren Fans podcast site.
Exactly. No. And whilst you mention that, key rings of Sarah and fridge magnets, 25% off at the moment. 24% for 2024. If you spend more than £10, have a look.
Yeah. So, if you own a yacht in Monaco, or your supercar is an MP4 12C or a 720S, or maybe you've got a collection of E-Type Jags at home, just lying around, deciding on whether you're going to pick the red, white, blue, or the yellow one this weekend, then the other team kit launch this week is probably for you. We have a Reese collaboration now. Granted, I've never come across Reese before. probably on my radar of clothes that women wear, sort of thing,
It's not
like
just women.
Oasis, shop and stuff like that, right? So, but some of it's lovely. There's a few fleeces that are really nice. There's some absolutely gorgeous polo shirts. There's a women's leather jacket that
900 quid leather jacket. Nice, looks good.
I'm struggling to get over £95 for a team hoodie. £198 for a fleece.
Is that just
with all the colours all over it with
yeah,
in the picture.
It looks great, but Jesus, I'm like,
catering for all
unfortunately,
markets.
you can't get 10% off that either.
Actually, not catering for all markets. So let me do my Sarah moment. Brilliant designs, things I'd like to buy, things I'd love on there, but Reese is not an inclusive store for a girl like me. Unfortunately, I've even when I was at my slimmest, I could still never buy anything from there. Not only do they only go up to a lady's size 16, but they come up very small. And looking at the website today, the ladies' items, although it said they did an 18, that was crossed out on most of them. On the men's, XXL was crossed out on most of them, so you could only buy as big as an extra large. And looking at the size charts for those, they're very, very small sizes. So all of you that are skinny out there, enjoy Reese. Please buy something
you
from me.
skinny and rich. Skinny and rich.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's great that we've got these collaborations. It's like Toomey, the travel cases. They are good quality. And remember when we all bought a Lap 56 rucksack, even though it was £200, because it really lasted and it was good quality.
Still using mine to this day.
Exactly. There's some things that are a little bit out of reach for the normal person.
So for us normal people, TK Maxx do have clothes in from last year's sale. From last year's stuff, there was Oscar Piastri hoodies in, McLaren t-shirts in, team wearing. I saw a couple of t-shirts for £9.99.
And to be honest, I've bought a couple of Lando hoodies and long sleeve t-shirts and things now, and they wash really well. They last really well. So I suppose I know I'll buy some team kit because I always do, but I might not buy as much as normal, and I might branch out into these other things. But alas, Reese, I will not be coming to visit you because, well, there'll probably be a padlock on a changing room.
Yeah, right.
Any fat jokes anyone wants to make, please do so. But
please direct them at me. I'm used to them. I'm quite happy. I've been shouted at in the last couple of weeks from a car. Keep running, fatty. So there you go. That was motivational.
Keep running. It was a positive.
It was. and I'd like to point out I wasn't running to the pie shop, like most people would think. But there you go. Or even the papaya shop. Right. I wanted to kind of wrap up with I've not had a rant for a while, and it's not much of a rant, but it's kind of why are car launches different now? Now I remember back in the day where we had the Spice Girls. I remember the Spice Girls,
had a Spice
and let's not talk about Christian Horner. And then we had launches there. We had the launch in Berlin where fans were invited to bring a piece of the car and it was built like Lego. We've had launches at the MTC where fans have been there and engaged at, and they've all been grand events.
Yes. And
really sort of since lockdown, everything has gone kind of digital. And I kind of sat there thinking, why is this? My first thought was, are we now in a digital fan world and that's all that really matters? AI fans just as useful to the team as real fans? Who knows? Or is it the cost cap? Has the cost cap affected it somewhat? I don't know. So what are we thinking? We've got 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes.
I'll play devil's advocate. A car launch, livery launch, season launch makes no difference to the speed of that car. Put all the effort into making that car faster.
Yes, but you need partners to get money in order to run the car, and therefore
You're on the
they
side of
want
the car.
launches and they want
Going over the
to.
line first, you're on the side of the car. Bang on.
Okay, so cost cap, Andy. We googled this and we looked up at what's included in the cost cap and what isn't, and I believe, looking at it, the cost cap does not cover driver salaries, the 3 highest players, travel costs, marketing costs, which is what I think that is, license fees, etc., etc. So I don't think it's to do with the cost cap. But does it matter when the car you see at a launch is not the car that will be on track? We all say this. What's the point in doing loads of analysis and going, oh, look what's on it, and then it comes out in Bahrain and it's totally different? Is the only value to a team the PR promotional side of things, the marketing, which they can do online anyway?
Yeah, but like things like, I know that you said that it's not included in the cost cap, but then there was, what does the cost cap actually cover?
Yes.
And they've got like kind of a generic catch-all at the bottom that just says all additional costs. So it could have even come under that. Who knows?
But it does say it covers expenditure related to car performance.
So it could be that.
Red Bull get pinned for too many sandwiches?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's what they said it was, wasn't it? So, yeah. I don't know. I just think it's not, like you said, you guys went to a private shakedown yesterday. Let me just say they weren't invited. They just went along to have a look through the fence, right? But wouldn't it be great if they did say, right, okay, we'll have a day and let's get some fans along. You don't necessarily have to be there to see the car going past. Is it too risky to do that now because everybody's got a phone and social media and everything else like that? I don't know. Just I'm kind of stumped at why there's not a bit more fan engagement around car launches like there used to be, and they're not much of a grander thing.
Was it last year or the year before where Ferrari literally filled a grandstand with fans and put the car on track for the car launch?
Possibly, or the year before.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm not a Ferrari fan, but they did it. And what difference does it make to them? To the team, not a lot. To the fan that went and sat in that stand, amazing. Yes. They would have loved it. That impact, that interaction would have been amazing.
You go back to Zak's point about you remember those sort of things.
Yeah.
They could easily have picked 100 McLaren Plus fans. Said, right, we're going to bring you down. We're all going to give you a cap that's signed. There you go, sit in the stand for 2 hours. I'm sure the PR people, the marketing people could have used them for their advantage quite easily.
There's Hilton Hotel in Silverstone.
Exactly. Kick Mercedes out of the big thing. We'll go on that one. Right. I guess that's all we've got time for. Any last words? Quick wrap up from everyone.
Watch
the Extreme E this weekend.
Watch the Extreme E this weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
I like how
go vote. Grid play votes. They matter in Extreme E. Go vote.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Keep supporting the team. Give them your suggestions. I think that's really important. Everybody is a super fan if they're involved, and they do read what you put. So yeah.
I've got a favour to ask. So, if you out there in the listening, watching world, could subscribe, or leave a review, that would be freaking sweet, awesome. And we will catch you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.